This guy has been pretty busy. All of this happening just this week. I want to point something out for you guys. Check this out. There are a number of surveillance cameras posted around this gas station on the outside and the inside. And this guy had no idea that he would be caught on those surveillance cameras. Of course, we've got great pictures of this guy. Apparently, he came to this gas station and broke into one of these pumps right here and installed that skimmer. If we can, let's take another look at that video. $85 million. Now, that's more than 3 times what was initially set aside for this project. Now, when it was first considered just a few years ago, when this idea first came about, they were talking about possibly just rehabbing the old facility. That would have cost about $32 million. But the mayor nearly doubled funding for this project. As you can see behind me, this construction project, the first phase of it anyway, has already started. Let me tell you, residents here are none too happy about that. Starting at 8 o'clock this morning, vehicles will not be allowed inside or out of this subdivision. And check this out. All of this is a huge mess. Look right down the street here. A number of cars already parked right out on the road this morning. A number of those homeowners simply trying to avoid all of these parking hassles. But take a look at this. Posted right outside of this subdivision, a sign here, a parking update. Permits have been revoked and all cars parked right out here on the street will be towed. So a lot of those folks concerned about that, their vehicles may not be out here this morning. Now, the HOA president says that shuttles will be taking folks from this subdivision to a CVS or a nearby golf course, both about a mile away. Residents we spoke with say that all of the planning for all of this simply was not done right. And despite that, deputies say they did all they could to save these young girls' lives. As you can imagine, it was pretty dark out, just like it is right now during the time that all of this happened. Check out the pond behind me. It's more like a swamp here. You can see the brush grown there. Experts say that's part of the problem here, along with distracted drivers and pedestrians on devices like cell phones. Now, all of this is outlined in this lengthy report that we've been pouring over this morning. This morning on breaking news we first told you about yesterday morning. Right now, this man is behind bars this morning after police say he shot 5 people outside of a popular hookah lounge. Now, one of those victims is dead this morning and 4 others are recovering. ABC Action News reporter Kara Mashik spoke exclusively with the victims who say they were caught in the crossfire. And we are staying on top of breaking news we've been following all morning out of Tampa. Right now, fire officials are investigating after a fire broke out at an Ybor business for the second time in just 1 week. It was just here on the basketball court alone, just shooting hoops when 3 guys walked up. Initially, they wanted directions, but things got out of hand very quickly. One guy actually told this kid that they would shoot him if he did not give up his cell phone and his book bag. Now, this mother spoke with us on camera. She did not want us to reveal her identity for fear of the safety of herself as well as her 16-year-old son. But she did stress to us how concerned she is right now for other teens in this area. If you drive in Hillsborough County, you may notice a big difference this morning. Deputies out in mass numbers. Why they're cracking down to save lives. We're going over the numbers. All right, stop what you're doing right now. Take a look at this picture. This car, there's a major story with this. A Port St. Lucie couple in jail this weekend after a strange car crash. Investigators say it was all fueled by drugs. The worst part, they actually had a baby in that vehicle. Police were called in to help after the car shot right past a stop sign and slammed into that utility pole. Police have already made an arrest in connection with this case. You know, this is a very sensitive subject. It was just this week that a teacher was shot and killed inside of a classroom in California following a domestic situation. This morning, parents here are relieved to know that the district is taking this seriously and doing all they can to ensure that these kids here are safe. And she's telling her story so women in this area will be on the lookout. All of this happened early Monday morning around this time of night as this victim was actually headed out to work. She says she actually noticed a guy walking towards her. He had his shirt in his hand. President Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. We're learning new information this morning into the investigation into possible ties to Russia. The president, though, now firing back on Twitter. All of this happening as the man who heads up the congressional investigation faces more questions. Thankfully, that is not the case this morning. Investigators tell us this was some sort of domestic situation, and they are not looking for any suspects this morning. In fact, they have identified everyone involved. New information this morning surrounding this massive fire in Atlanta that caused a section of I-85 to collapse in the city. Police arresting 3 homeless people in connection with that fire.
It's over 6 hours in Dunedin.
Pretty exciting. The street festival in front of Flanagan's Irish Pub on Main Street is so big now they can't contain it just to one day. That's right. They have to stretch it out.
There are a lot of moving parts to this story. Information continues to come in. Syrian officials just releasing this information that 7 people were killed and 9 injured in that U.S. airstrike. Now, over the past week, the president has maintained that seeing those images of small children and women killed in that Syrian chemical attack definitely moved him.
And an update now to some breaking news we've been telling you about all morning long. Firefighters right now just beginning their investigation into what caused this massive fire at a Hyde Park home. It went up in flames just this morning. Researchers used several measurements, of course, to determine this happiness, including generosity, longevity of life, support of family and friends, and freedom from corruption.
Clearly, they didn't survey right here with us.
They should have, because we're always happy. Yeah, how about that? Well, still to come this morning, how to keep your TV from tracking your viewing habits.
Well, it's St. Patrick's Day weekend and happening today in Tampa. You can see the Hillsborough River dyed green at the mayor's annual River O Green Fest at Curtis Hickson Park. The festivities kick off at 11 this morning. The best thing about it, it's free for everyone to attend.
At this point, firefighters tell us that half of this fire has been contained, but this is still a very dangerous situation. In fact, they're keeping us a ways away from where this fire is going on. The local sheriff's department has actually blocked the road, as you can see behind me. Now, they also tell us that weather conditions have also been helpful overnight. We always know when we're dealing with these wildfires, the wind can take those embers from place to place, area to area. Well, thankfully, overnight wind conditions have been a lot better, and that has helped to ease the problem out here and help firefighters to kind of contain this fire as best they can. Now, at this point, we're being told that this fire was sparked by a lightning strike, and again, because of those dry conditions, things spread pretty quickly. Now, a number of homes and businesses in this area have been evacuated, of course, for the safety of the folks here, but thankfully, no one has been hurt. Coming up this morning, in about 30 minutes, we'll hear from some of those residents on how they're dealing with this. Again, a press conference is set for this morning at 7 a.m. to give us the very latest information on exactly how they're handling things out here this morning.
Cape.
Yeah, he does. He's trying to give Tim Tebow a run for his money.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I think he's got a good case. Oh, you know, we've been telling you all week long about that cobra on the loose.
And thankfully, he may not be in this area, but he has a lot of people talking, no doubt. And there's a new... At this point, investigators with the Tampa Police Department still trying to piece together exactly what happened here. Mango Circle is shut down. As you can see behind me, a number of Tampa police detectives here. And police tell us that he was not in the crosswalk when this all happened. Unfortunately, this is becoming a common occurrence here in the state of Florida. All of this is outlined in this lengthy report we've been poring over this morning. Jason Wilms knows the dangers all too well. On the walk to the bus stop this morning, safety of the utmost importance.
Like your mother used to say, look both ways before crossing the street. Definitely.
Not only that, also making sure to use the crosswalk. Just hours ago, a pedestrian hit and killed near this very Largo intersection. Police telling us he was outside the crosswalk, something Wilms says he works to avoid.
Not the best thing in the world to do, and I try to avoid it as much as possible.
Unfortunately, we've all likely seen roadside crosses like these, posted to remember those who've passed away. These not far from Wednesday's fatal pedestrian accident, also a stark reminder of road dangers. Some we spoke with, though, say not everyone getting the message.
I seen a lady up here with a little baby and the thing going across the road, and the cop actually stopped her. She had a little bitty baby, like 9 months old, going across the street, wasn't even in the crosswalk. You know, that's people do some things that are not, very smart.
Consider these numbers. The problem is greatest in large population states that have urban areas where people do a lot of walking. Delaware, Florida, and Arizona have the highest rates of pedestrian deaths relative to their population. Experts say there are a number of factors leading to the problem, key among them distracted drivers and pedestrians, especially when conditions are dark like this early in the morning. Among them, folks on devices like cell phones simply not paying attention. To address this issue, the state of Florida has established a pedestrian and bicycle safety coalition aimed at raising awareness. In the process, hopefully, saving lives.
And if you would like to read it for yourself, we have this entire report laid out for you on our website. Simply head on over to abcactionnews.com. Reporting in Largo this morning, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News. And James, let me tell you, we've spoken with a number of homeowners this morning, and they are none too happy. This project will be going on for the next 2 days, so they will not be able to drive in or out of this subdivision. As you can see behind me, a deputy is actually blocking the way in. Work has already begun this morning, and if you look right to my side, they already have shuttles set up to take those folks about a mile from here to their vehicles. Now, again, we spoke with a number of residents who are very concerned about this, and they say the planning simply was not done right, but the HOA president says he had no choice.
It's very confusing. I really have no idea. I don't even know what I'm going to do when I come home from work this evening.
Confusion, frustration, and anger mounting for folks here at the Sablewood subdivision in Newport Richey. A road repaving project starting this morning, shutting down traffic in and out.
This wasn't planned by the community. It was planned by Brian solely on his own.
This is the application to use their facilities.
But HOA President Brian Tortorelli says his hands were tied.
Sometimes, as they say, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
A couple of golf cart shuttles will take folks a mile down the road to 2 parking destinations, a CVS or a local golf course. Those we spoke with say the planning was not well thought out.
I mean, we all agree to the pave and we want our area to look nice and all, but it should have been a community thing, not one person deciding.
Then there's this. Folks thought they'd be able to park just outside the subdivision, but there was a bit of confusion with the county and the permit for that plan was revoked. Those parked here now could be towed.
They sent out notices saying that we would be able to park on the street all along, so we don't know where to go now.
For his part, Tortorelli wants homeowners to know he's inconvenienced as well.
I'll be walking today like everybody else. I'll be taking the shuttle like everybody else.
And there is another side to this story. A number of homeowners here say they wanted this project to be held off for about 6 weeks until school was out so everybody can park at a nearby high school. It's literally feet from here, hundreds of parking spaces. But the HOA president says he contacted the school district and they basically said no to that plan. In fact, he gave me all of that paperwork that he filed. He says he's been calling them, trying to work that out. And he says basically they had to do this for today and tomorrow. Now, if there is any good news to report for these residents here, the HOA president tells me all of this should be completed by about 6 o'clock tomorrow night. For now, reporting live in Newport Richey, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News. It has for some time, Dia, and deputies want to change that. Their hope this morning is to keep drivers alert and alive.
There's been a numerous number of fatality wrecks that I've responded to out here. So we're looking at 65.
Master Deputy Robert Bateman knows all too well the dangers along US 301.
Most of the crashes out here are serious crashes. Due to the nature of it just being a 2-lane road, there's not a lot of areas for those people to get off the road.
Over the next few weeks, drivers will see an increase in patrols along 301 in Hillsborough as well as I-4. The effort is being called a corridor safety operation.
The majority of the public out there is doing right. It's the ones that are not driving properly, the ones that are distracted, allowing their rush to work or a cell phone call or a text message to get in the way and takes them out of that realm from a good driver to an unsafe driver.
Signs like this also posted, alerting folks to pay attention.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so that gentleman who clearly passed in a no passing zone said that he is actually on his way to a job interview, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier with drivers that are in a hurry, driving aggressively, passing in no passing zones.
Drivers telling us this area is a known problem.
About 2 days ago, man, there was an accident right up the street, man, like a T-bone.
Consider the numbers. Over the past year, there have been 46 crashes on US 301. On I-4, a total of nearly 1,500.
As you can see, we've had peaks on Mondays and Wednesdays, but also we have a substantial peak on Saturday out here, which warrants our attention.
Deputies say this effort is a move to get those numbers down, hopefully saving lives in the process. And the sheriff's office will also be working with the local sheriff's department there and working with the County Department of Transportation, trying to determine if additional signs or possibly road markings in this area could help with the issue as well. Reporting in studio this morning, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News. As you can imagine, a number of people out here this morning were shocked to hear about this. This morning, Tampa police looking for 3 men who could be behind this rash of crimes. Al Lopez Park, a pretty popular spot for walkers like Frank Shines most mornings. Today, no different.
Pretty much every morning. Yeah, I try to get out here before I go into work, yeah.
Concern now, though, following word of a recent robbery here.
I found the place to be pretty safe. I haven't noticed any problems.
A pretty scary situation recently for a 16-year-old hanging out here alone on the basketball court, robbed by 3 guys of his cell phone and book bag. The victim shielding his identity for safety, telling us what happened.
He had said, give me your book bag or I'm going to shoot you in your leg. So I didn't want to try anything because he told me not to run.
Just an hour before that crime, police say 3 men robbed a 14-year-old at nearby Wellswood Park. Detectives believe these robberies could be connected. The 16-year-old victim's mom now worried about others.
Why can't help on these kids? You know, where are these kids going to go and play? Where? Now they're going to be afraid to go to that park because you guys might show up again?
As for park visitors like Shines, they'll no doubt be keeping a lookout.
I just kind of, when I walk, I just walk and turn around 360 degrees. Just kind of beware of my surroundings. I'm ex-military, ex-Air Force, so, you know, they taught us a lot of that stuff in survival training in the military, so I guess it's just probably part of my nature.
And at this hour, Tampa police are following up with witnesses, trying to get as much information about these suspects as they can. Of course, later on today, we'll be speaking with them about any possible arrests in this case. In the meantime, they're warning teenagers and also people who visit these area parks to definitely be aware of your surroundings. And if you can, do not come to the park alone. For now, reporting live in Tampa, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News. We've discovered that this fire is 75% contained at this point, so that is good news, but still a very dangerous situation. Deputies keeping folks back from that community. As you can see, deputy keeping cars from going a few miles down there, down the road where they still continue to fight this fire. Of course, firefighters over the past few days have been trying to knock this thing down. Again, they say, thankfully, things appear to be getting a bit better this morning, but it's still a very dangerous situation. Hernando firefighters and teams from Florida Forestry hard at work trying to get all of this under control. 1,100 acres torched by this massive wildfire. This morning, telling us it appears they've got a hold on it.
We do have a line all the way around it. That is a line of mineral soil on the south, on the east, and on the north side. And shoreline is our containment line on the west side.
75% contained at the moment. The weather a big help. Calm wind conditions overnight preventing hot embers from spreading. A community church near the blaze saved.
Due to some aggressive backburning by the forestry division, we were able to make sure that the fire stayed a significant distance from the church.
Investigators believing lightning started it all. People in the area being told now to continue to take precautions. The danger far from over. And back out here live this morning, want to give you guys another picture right here. Again, fire department and the deputies kind of keeping us a couple of miles back from where this fire is going on this morning. But you can see the smoke there off in the distance. Still a very dangerous situation. And again, they're keeping folks in this community from going down this road and getting close to where this fire is. Another interesting point to this story, fire officials telling us that they're warning folks this morning also not to fly those drones. You know, a lot of folks are trying to fly drones to see some of the damage up close and personal, but they say that can be a dangerous situation for not only those sightseers, but also the firefighters trying to attack this thing from the ground and the air. For now, reporting live in Hernando County this morning, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News. Tampa police have already made an arrest in this case. This is a very sensitive subject. It was just this week that a school teacher in California was shot and killed inside of the classroom following a domestic situation. This morning, parents we spoke with are relieved to know that the district is taking steps to ensure students are safe.
We were very concerned because we didn't know that had happened, and then when we were told what, basically why they did it, I think that that was the right way to handle it.
Tampa police arresting Derek Bishop for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after they say he threatened a woman who works with an after-school program here. Parents were informed about all of this through a phone message. Those we spoke with believe the school took the right steps.
I understand that they were probably put in a difficult position trying to take some actions that would make the parents feel comfortable while at the same time trying to deal with the situation.
The Hillsborough School District says no threats were made against kids. Parents, though, glad the district is taking the issue seriously.
What comes to my mind is what's been going on around the nation. You never know when somebody's going to do something. I mean, it's pretty sad when we have to have a gate around the school. My older kids didn't have one. They all went here.
We'll be speaking with school administrators today to find out exactly how long these additional security measures will be in place. Reporting from Ballast Point Elementary School, Rodney Dunigan, ABC Action News.